If you're a filmmaker, then at some point you've probably wondered, should I make a passion project? Should I just go and make a film of my own? No client, no deadline, just me and my own creativity. Short answer, yes, but we're going to get stuck into a little bit more. You might be able to hear the rain outside. It's been a very stormy day. I absolutely love the sound of rain. One of the bits of advice that you'll hear all the time, whether you are a freelancer or employed, is don't work for free. You shouldn't be doing any work without getting paid. And I think there is a space for that for sure. But it's a bit of a blanket statement that doesn't really cover everything that goes into having a filmmaking career. You definitely shouldn't be working for free when it's things like filming events or doing a corporate or commercial project for a company, for a brand. You've worked hard to get to the skill set you have. You shouldn't be giving that away for free. And in an ideal world, you wouldn't be working for free on documentaries and short films either. But the reality is that there's no client, and if you want to make those things, chances are that you're going to have to pay for it yourself or go help out others for free. And I think that's the right thing to do, and I think there's a few good reasons for doing it. And I say this as someone who's shot well over 12, 15 passion projects over my career so far. So let me explain. So the first reason that it's really worth doing is it can actually lead to a financial benefit down the line. Every passion project I've made has paid for itself and more from the work that I've got off the back of it. I, like many of us, made the mistake early on in my career of thinking you get signed as a commercial director when you are making commercials. But the reality is most directors get signed by a commercial agency through the narrative work that they've made. And all of that work will either be funded from some funding organization or self-funded or a bit of both. It's rarely been the paid work that I've done that has got me an opportunity. More times than not, it's been the passion projects that I've made that have led to something else. So when I was at uni, I made a film and it was okay. But that film that I funded myself, I just went and made, that's the film that landed me my first full-time job. The Royal Navy job that I got was off the back of a passion project, which I'll talk about in a little bit. When you take a look at directors at the top of their game, like Barry Jenkins or Christopher Nolan, they weren't getting paid to make their short films in the early stage of their career. They were doing that to get the recognition, to experiment, to define who they are as a filmmaker, and that is what allowed them to get the bigger opportunities later on. Now, another really important part to doing passion projects is about the connections you build. Connections is the bedrock of freelancing or filmmaking in general. No matter how much we try to do things by ourselves, often to our own detriment, filmmaking is a collaborative process. And the bigger the network, the stronger the network that you can build, the further you'll progress, both in the commercial world and the narrative world or the documentary world, whichever realm you want to be in. Because you need a team around you that you believe in and that you trust and that has your back. It's so important on any job because things will always start working against you, whether that's weather or time. There's so many different things that can go wrong. And in those moments, you need people around you who you know are going to be there even when it gets tough. And it's those connections that will increase your chance of getting work in the future. So I made a short film called Frank's Christmas, maybe like 3 years ago, can't quite remember now. And I put out a call on Facebook. If anyone knew of any actors who'd want to be involved, please let me know. And a colleague I'd worked with maybe like 13 years before dropped a link to one of his friends and we got chatting. He not only got involved with the project and became a really good friend after, but more than that, his network saw the film. And that led to 3 different projects, including the Royal Navy campaign. The connections is what's going to get your work seen by more people, and passion projects are a great way to build that network. Just make sure that you're returning the favor. If someone's helping you out, then you go help them out. And that kind of symbiotic relationship is what's going to help you grow faster. The more relationships like that you can have, the quicker you can climb that ladder. I definitely believe in this idea of passing it on, helping others the way that you've been helped or the way that you haven't been helped, trying to improve that system for other people. The industry can be a little bit difficult for some people to get into or to get experience. And when you run a passion project, you have the chance to bring others on and give them the opportunity that you wish you had. So having the chance to work with new people who have the same interests as you can really help accelerate where you want to end up. Now, not all passion projects are going to be to a high level, depending what stage that crew is at, that cast is at, the quality is going to vary. But no matter what level it's at, you're probably going to learn something. You get to play in a way that you might not normally. Perhaps you've always wanted to do an interview handheld or just from a close high angle shot, but your client wouldn't want that. The client just wants it a very standard shot. You now have that chance to do that. Equally, you may not get to play with colored lights that much, but you go into a music video and you get to try mixing reds and blues and mixing all sorts of different flavors. By doing that, you're going to get to learn and take that into your commercial work. Oh, sorry, yeah, there you go.
Take two now?
Yes. Are we still rolling? Still rolling, okay. So when a client is looking for someone to bring on, they will be looking for someone that can bring something unique. And that's hard to do. It's hard to stand out if you're only ever doing the paid work that comes in where you have no control, you have no freedom to try things. And there are many corporate jobs that I've done over the years where I've learned absolutely nothing because you're very much just doing rinse and repeat. You want to make your life easy and you want to be reliable. And that means often, not always, but often falling back on what you know. There's nothing wrong with that. And you can really fine tune things and get a really solid look in that you really like. But taking on your own music video or your own short doc, it's all about having that space to be creative, to just experiment. So all of those things combined adds up to what is the biggest perk, the biggest reason for doing passion projects in my mind. And that is a sense of pride in what you're doing.
Oh my goodness.
Just that.
That looks pretty cool.
Really
so,
quick.
Yep.
Or just like really soft and gentle.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Then the next shot, you see it, you'll hear it, you might hear a door open.
Yeah.
Ray walks in.
Yeah.
And we have the top shot, saxophone case on there.
Yeah.
Click, open.
Filter thread is the.
It's 77.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I've got a bunch of separate rings anyway. I personally sometimes can get a little bit disheartened when I'm doing commercial job after commercial job and creative ideas being stripped away, or you're just working flat out and that isn't being shared by others in the team or the client. And yes, that can happen on passion projects, but I've never had that because you are choosing the people you're working with and you are all in it for the love of what you're doing. I really enjoy that kind of team bond that comes from passion projects. Imagine that you have 2 awards on your shelf. One is for an advert that you've done, and the other is for an original piece of work that you've come up with. Which one are you going to be prouder of? It's definitely going to be your own work. That sense of achievement from your original idea being recognized is way higher than from an advert where even if you've had a large role in it, there's a lot of other factors at play. I've had a couple of incidences over the last year or so with clients just not understanding the process and taking it out on you, and it's not a nice feeling. We all have a habit of being too ambitious when it comes to passion projects or commercials, and I definitely am trying to even that out a little bit. So even if that means splitting up your project to 2 weekends over 2 months, normal 8-hour days, rather than trying to cram in 2 16-hour days on one weekend. That's the right approach to take. It sounds simple when you say it out loud, but it's not always done that way. I know that from my own personal mistakes. Looking after your crew is really important, and it's something that I've not always done the best at, and something I'm trying harder to get right, because they're the ones who are there to help you, and you want them on your side, and you want to thank them for the work they're doing by giving them the best environment to work in. You definitely should pay for people to come onto your passion projects if and when you can, but understanding how hard you can push when people are just there to volunteer. On the film that I was working on the weekend, They looked after me so well when it came to the food, and as a vegan filmmaker, I've had quite a few experiences recently where in the corporate commercial world, it's just not been facilitated, and you kind of bear and grin it, but it's not easy and it's not really kind of what you're hoping for. Whereas on this project, I got just lovely home cooked pasta, or I got a vegan burger delivered because they cared, and that made a massive difference. Even though they were long days and I just stood outside in the rain for a lot of it, knowing that they actually are trying to care for you kind of makes you go, okay, that's fine. Like, I can deal with this. I can deal with it for now. When you put all these things together, when you're making something you're passionate about, you're learning as you go, and you're doing it with new and close friends, you get a sense of pride that is really hard to match within the commercial corporate world. Not impossible, but it's definitely not to the same level I found. Writing my TV pilot screenplay took 3-4 years, and there were many times over that period where there would be people kind of questioning what I'm doing, or, you know, saying it's not going to make you any money, I don't know why you're spending your time doing that. But at the end of it, it was so worth it. When I started getting recognition for something of my own concept, it was just the proudest thing that I've had in my career. And that was all because it was a passion project, and that is hopefully going to keep leading to more and more opportunities down the line. Now, I'm not saying you need to go work for free on every project. You need to just volunteer your time, your resources. You know, you still need to be picky. You still need to be working with the people that you want to work with. You still need to be working on the projects that suit you and the things you're interested in. I just don't think it's as black and white as you should work for free or you shouldn't work for free. It's a case of looking at the value of a project. And by value, I don't just mean money. You know, there's many different things that you can value from a film set. I went and helped out on a music video years ago as a runner, and it's not something I would normally do. I'm a director, but I really admired the director on the project. So they asked for some runners to volunteer, and I thought, yeah, why not? I really enjoyed it. I got a lot from it, but the production company asked me a few weeks later to help out on another music video by the same director. And I kind of ummed and ahed about it, but I said yes. Really shouldn't have, it was just work. There was nothing new or of interest to me. The first one was a great experience. The second one was a terrible experience. So yeah, you make sure you are really thinking about the projects that you want to volunteer your time on and the ones that you're asking other people to volunteer their time on. Now, my plans going forward, I am looking to make my next short film in May or June. And for that, I am hoping to save up and have a good pot of money ready, and also hopefully try and secure some funding. But my goal is to make it a welfare driven set, so having a proper catering service there to make sure everyone's sorted, making sure the days aren't ridiculously long and everyone gets to get home in time for their kids' dinner or whatever it is. That's the minimum I'm hoping to achieve from the project. In an ideal world, I want to go above and beyond that as much as I can, as much as I can afford, because it's right that we do so as filmmakers in an industry that has typically been exploitive for a lot of people for a long time. It's kind of up to everyone coming up through the ranks to try and change that. So if you've got an idea that you want to make, I tell you, just go make it. Whether that is by yourself or you manage to get a few people to help you, just go and get it done, and make sure you're looking after people and really treating them as well as you possibly can, and returning that favor when you get the opportunity to. Next week, I'm going to go over some of my everyday carries as a filmmaker on a film set or just in life. So look out for that, and otherwise have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye.